All right, starting with the NFL. Obviously, Monday, the whip around. Find me an NFL head coach that looks smarter this morning than Robert Receipts Saleh.
Taking receipts.
Go ahead. Find me one that looks better. Find me one that looks more intelligent. You won't. You can't. And then once you've done that, go ahead and find me a quarterback that looks worse than Zach Wilson. You won't be able to do that either. And then find me a QB who balled out like Mike White did. Probably will not be able to do that as well. Nobody balled out like Mike White yesterday, especially given that he's, well, Mike White. Yeah, I understand it was against the Bears, but still, he's Mike White. It was only a week ago that last year's number 2 overall pick gained exactly, number two overall pick, gained exactly that many yards in total offense in the second half in Foxborough. Remember? And then on top of that, then took even less. 0 is less than 2. 0 accountability for that disaster. And then went on to blame the wind.
It's windy as hell out there too, guys.
Right. Windy as hell, guys. Come on now.
It's windy as hell out there too, guys.
Come on, guys. It's windy out there. Then reportedly pissed off some teammates with that horrible, self-entitled attitude that ultimately got his ass benched. That all happened in the past week. Then Mike White comes in, and he made all of that feel like ancient history because Mike White just made Jets fan forget that Zach Wilson ever even existed. The best part about White's performance was that he did it in the elements. Zach Wilson blaming the wind. Mike White owned the wind and the rain and the Bears. And I think safe to say he now owns Zach Wilson and his job. And judging from how miserable Wilson looked on the sideline, I think he knows it too. You want to talk about an energy flip? Again, granted, it was against a crappy Chicago defense. Granted, the schedule is going to get a whole lot more challenging. But did you see the way the offense and his teammates responded to White? Wilson has just one more TD pass on the season than White did on the day yesterday. Now, I know Robert Saleh said we would see Wilson again before the end of the year, and that was not the final nail in the coffin. I know he said that. However, Jim Rome says if White continues to play like that and he doesn't get hurt, Wilson is not going to sniff the field again this year.
You stink.
Because right now the Jets are built to win. They're built to win right freaking now. And the biggest impediment to that happening was Wilson and his horrible attitude, incredible self-entitlement, and lack of professionalism. And by the way, I'm not talking about a game manager. I'm not talking about a dude who stayed away from the big mistake and just made sure that they didn't beat themselves and let the defense do all the work. I'm talking about a dude who made plays. Lots of plays. A dude who was 22 of 28 for 315 yards and 3 TDs. A dude who essentially put on a laser show in a downpour. And a dude who made Bob Saleh look like a damn genius in the process. Now, not that Saleh was looking to get a pat on the back, and not that he was going to get carried away with any of this. I'll tell you what, I really like the way this guy's handling it. Like, if Mike White, quote, made the easy look easy, then Zach Wilson made the easy look hard as hell. Zach Wilson made the easy look like the impossible. Zach Wilson made the easy look like the hardest thing a human has ever attempted. The Jets went up to Foxborough last week and then jetted the hell out of that game. Except now it looks like what really happened was that Zach just zacked the hell out of that game. Because the rest of the Jets seemed fine. In fact, the rest of the Jets looked like a playoff team. In fact, the rest of the Jets look like a playoff team that could actually win a game once they get there. And I seriously doubt they will be zacking the hell out of anything else this season. Again, if White can stay healthy. Because it would appear that Wilson just lost his gig and maybe even more than that. Bob Saleh could not have handled that any better. Wilson could not have handled his situation any worse. And that's what you have. You have me leading a Monday with the Jets and a positive Jets take. Look at Chalk. He's having a day.
He made the easy look easy.
New York Chalk feeling it. Now, the only dude this morning who might have it as bad as Zach Wilson is Commander Cringe. Because, holy crap, Russ and the Broncos just keep finding new lows. Right when you think they've hit rock bottom, they find a new low. Even if Cringe a Russ has 245 million reasons not to care, it still gets uglier and cringier every single week. Denver got their asses handed to them yesterday by Steve Wilks, Sam Darnold, and the Carolina Panthers. The Plan B Panthers. The post-rule, post-CMC, post-we-gave-up Panthers. They fired their coach. They traded their best player. They started their third quarterback of the season in this game. And they still absolutely waxed Coach Can't Hack It and the Broncos. Seriously. Could Nathaniel Can't Hack It be any worse? If not for Pervin Liar, this would be one of the worst hires ever. Even with Pervin Liar, this is one of the worst hires ever. Difference is, Liar is a bad dude. Hackett is a great dude, but both are horrible NFL coaches. No way Hackett gets a second year. We all know that. So if he's not going to get a second year, isn't it fair to ask why he even gets another minute in that facility this year? I mean, that's a given. Except the cringy QB, that's something different. The cringy QB one is different because they are stuck with this guy, and they know it, and it seems like it's starting to get to those who are depending on him to be something or anything other than seemingly, shockingly washed. Commander Cringe is suddenly washed. He's faded. He looks like he's done. It seems like the team knows this, and it seems like the team has had enough of his awkward, painful, cringy act. Specifically, Broncos nose tackle Mike Purcell has had enough of Russ's nonsense. He didn't just snap at Captain Cringe on the sideline yesterday. I think he was speaking for every single Broncos fan who had to sit through yet another 19 of 35, 142-yard slop fest from Russ in yet another loss. Russ, of course, tried to keep it all positive, try to turn around after the game and say everything is fine with Purcell. It's all good. It's all cool. We're all totally on the same page. Purcell said, quote, "We got to effing go." And Russ agreed. Except technically, Russ would have said, "Let's effing ride."
Broncos country, let's ride.
We got to effing ride.
Thank you, guys. Broncos country. Let's ride.
In fact, I'm sure he probably did say that quietly under his breath right after Purcell walked away. You know, Purcell's like, "Hey, man, we got to effing go. Yo, cringe or Russ. We got to effing go." He probably responded under his breath, "Broncos country, let's effing ride."
We gotta effing go, you know.
Purcell, let's effing ride. Yeah, I'm sure Purcell and Russ are on the same page. As long as that page is that Russ is washed. Hey, man, this guy saying we got to effing go is not, yo, let's do this, Russ. Actually, it is. Like, come on, Russ. The hell are you? The hell did we get from you? What's going on here? Purcell might have done what every Broncos fan has wanted to do every single week all season. However, the pep talk did not work because Denver just took their ugliest loss yet in a series of disgusting and revolting losses. Honestly, the Cardinals should appreciate the total and complete tire fire in Denver because it's great cover for their own total and complete tire fire. Hate to see it because you know I'm a big Cardinal fan, but Arizona got stayed yesterday to fall to 4-8. They got punked on a last gasp 2-point conversion for the win, which was a gritty call and the right call for the Bolts. And we'll talk more about that with DeAndre Carter in hour 3. Why don't we talk about the dude that Brandon Staley punked? The dude who now is in deep bleep, a.k.a. Cliff Kingsbury. Because it is safe to say the Cards are cooked. And cooked isn't going to cut it for Cliff. I'm digging deep for one of my biggest uh-ohs ever. You got your franchise quarterback, who, never mind, has had his own issues. This guy gets up after a loss and says, schematically, we were kind of effed. Schematically, we were kind of F. That's bad, right? That's not a dude in the locker room pulling a couple of teammates aside. That's a guy front and center in front of the world saying, schematically, we were kind of effed. So that's bad, right? That sounds a lot worse than a programmatic non-fit. So that's bad, right? That sounds a lot worse than a programmatic non-fit.
It was a programmatic non-fit.
A coach talking about a player being a programmatic non-fit is pretty awesome. A franchise quarterback allegedly saying that we were schematically kind of effed, not good. Problem is, it's true. The Cardinals are schematically kind of effed. They're also kind of effed in the standings. And their head coach kind of is too. They're all just kind of effed all the way around. But at least they're not the only team that lost in a game-ending 2-point conversion, because apparently going for 2 and the win was actually the highest percentage play in the NFL yesterday. Jacksonville and Doug Peterson also showed a big brass set with the game on the line against Baltimore. You know, and a lot of this talk about Trevor Lawrence being that generational talent, and he frankly has been anything but a generational talent. He needed this. And when they needed him to show up, he did big. Big in that final drive, big at the end of the game, and big with that conversion for the dub. Trevor was great. He really was. At the end of that game, he was great. Let me tell you something. Do you know professional athletes are famous for never, ever looking back. Always forward, never back. That was then. This is now. We are where our feet are. All we care about is the next down, the next rep, the next practice, the next game. They can't stop talking about Pervin Liar. Even at the end of November, the following season, they're still talking about how bad a guy this guy was, how bad of a coach this guy was. This guy is happier for Trevor Lawrence than anybody is for anything. And why? Because A, he had to deal with Pervin Liar last year.
That's devastating.
And B, he had to deal with Pervin Liar last year. And most of all, C, he's happy for Trevor Lawrence. Not because he won that game, but because he won that game and he had to deal with Pervin Liar last year. So good to see Trevor and the Jags and the Queen, Miss Nika, and all of Duval have a little moment. And to see Perv drag through the mud yet again.
Get out of Dodge.
And however, there's more. I can't end the whip around without talking about one of my all-time favorite stories in the NFL, at least this year. An amazing thing is happening in the district, and I don't even mean Taylor Heineke, although he is still doing Taylor Heineke things. I'm talking about, how do I put this? The Commanders, they're winning. They're winning.
Winning?
Not only are they winning, they can't stop winning. They now have won 3 in a row and 6 of 7.
Winning?
6 of 7. Washington. Hey, look, it wasn't pretty, but it never is with these guys. And it never matters because bottom line, Washington is still winning.
Winning?
But all I can think about is Brian Robinson Jr.'s amazing oversized hat. Y'all see this in the postgame locker room. My man says he's promoting his friend's big hat company. And if we want a big hat, we should let him know. Well, Brian, consider this me letting you know I want one of those damn big hats. In fact, I don't just want a big hat. I want to invest in the big hat company. Like, where can I sign up for this perfect business idea? Who do I scratch a check to? I am so in. I know just who is going to be perfect for this. I know who I need to bring in. Now, he is the cheapest guy in America. However, he's got a greater need for one of those big hats than anybody I know. Big Head! Where you at, Big Head?